All right, this is just morning stoner talk. I'm flying solo right now. I got my coffee and I got my weed, and I'm just gonna, talk about things that are on my mind lately. I think the first thing that I need to talk about is waking and baking. That is kind of my favorite thing. I smoke weed a lot, but I try to always wake and bake at least. If I'm not smoking all day every day, I like waking and baking when I can. And I'm fucking stoned right now, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. This is terrible. So I think the topics I want to talk about, I'm gonna just like have to start forming this like imagination cloud right now and like just build up what I think is like the video that I'm interested in talking about. And then like look at this one and be like, oh, that you know what? That's what I want. Yeah, because what I really want to talk about, and honestly, this is what I would like actually like to discuss, is all those things that we watch on the YouTube videos already, which is things about the subconscious and Carl Jung and all these psychoanalysts and all these people. So like for me, I feel special. I feel like I was gifted with this thing from God where I could read something and understand it, and other people read it and they don't understand it, and I never understood that. I never understood why I could read something and look at someone and say, don't you understand what it says?" And people are like, "Yeah, it says this," and it's just completely different than what I think it says. And then I tell them what I think it says, and they go, "You're so wrong! Oh my gosh!" And then everyone looks around, and they all agree that I'm wrong. And then so I'm the only one standing there going like, "But that doesn't feel right." So I grew up in a world like that, just over and over, constantly. Everyone looking at each other, being like, he's wrong." And then I'm just like, is it that I'm wrong, or is that you don't know the answer and that you're just fucking telling me to like go kick rocks? So some of the things I want to talk about are like, you know, we pass out like every day to rest our body and recharge. It's like a battery. And just like what causes like the conscious mind to slip out into the unconscious. Like when I'm falling asleep, I'm laying down, I start breathing a certain way. I start thinking certain thoughts. And it's almost like a Alice in Wonderland thing where like I start drifting into a hole of like thought and images. And so maybe as I lay down in my pillow, I close my eyes and I start breathing, really deep maybe or something. And as I'm like resting and I have my eyes closed, I start imagining, let's just say like a kitchen. Like I'm in the kitchen, I'm chopping onions. Okay, I got to chop all these onions and I'm still awake and I'm telling myself this almost like a story. And so I don't know if it's because when I was a kid they would read you stories when you go to sleep or something, but I need it's almost like I need imagery to drift off into unconsciousness, and then so I'll start breathing, I'll start imagining, right? I'm in this kitchen, I'm chopping, and then all of a sudden, uh, I blink my eyes open and I take a big breath in, and I'm back in my bed and the room's dark and I'm just like, oh man, I was falling asleep, and I come right back into, let's just say, the real world of consciousness, this reality. And I was, just a second ago in this kitchen chopping onions, and then okay, I close my eyes, and then it could be as quick as a blink, and I'm gone. I'm in sleep world, and it's a thing of not knowing. Like I've never recorded myself sleeping, like a whole sleeping session. That would be interesting to do, a live feed, just like to see what happens when I'm rolling around at night. Because I don't know if you guys dream or not, but I dream every now and then, and I'll remember it. And my dreams are kind of mundane. They're not very interesting in my eyes, but I can only guess at what they mean, and I'm really interested in dreams. It's just a thing of like, everyone could tell you, oh, this is what this means, this is what that means. If you dream this, if you dream that, you mean this, you mean that. But it's really up to individuals. it's your subconscious trying to tell you something. So just because you see like symbology in your dream, it can mean different things to different people, different reasons why you would see something, right? And so who knows why you're getting these crazy dreams, or maybe sweet dreams, or maybe no dreams, or whatever. But I feel like, you know, actually dreaming, it comes with like a certain sense. For me, when I dream, it's a certain sense of heaviness in that beginning of the crashing out, the what I described in the beginning of telling myself a story, and closing my eyes and starting to breathe. If I do that, if I close my eyes, I start breathing, and I'm just immediately in that kitchen chopping onions, and there's like a heaviness to me. There's like this heaviness to like my brain, like a weight almost. Like when I feel my eyes closed tight, I know I am fucking knocking out. I'll tell my girlfriend, like, I'm knocking out right now. Like, I am going to sleep in I don't know, quickly, like seconds. It's interesting that it's almost like a self hypnosis or something, where I just like sleep, you know. And I know those are the nights where I usually have dreams that are so vivid that I do remember them. And they're nothing exciting. Like I said, usually it's me taking a bus somewhere, or I'll be walking down some neighborhood that looks similar to the neighborhoods I've lived in, and I'll stumble upon like a house, and it's like, oh, it's my house. And then I'll go inside. It's never, I've never seen this house. It'll be like a 2-story house. Never lived in a 2-story house. And, just walk around, and I'll bump into family or something. And they're like, hey, what are you doing? Go take the trash out. And I'm just like, ah, God, I hate taking the trash out. And then I'll wake up and I'll just be like, I hate taking the trash out. And then in the middle of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, wait, no one's even around me. So I think, like, what you dream about and the unconscious mind, it's just interesting. It's almost like a TV show that turns on when your brain turns off, and it's like everything you've ever seen all mixed up in a big pot, and you just scoop out a little bit of it, just whoop, and then so you dream about, the railroad track, a girl, a snake, a bird, a canyon, oh, I'm in a cave, I'm swimming, I'm flying. It's like, it's like when we're conscious, right? Like my eyes, right, are like constantly seeing things. Like I'm constantly seeing things, but every now and then I will click into a subconscious mind, where I'm like looking at something and thinking, and I'm miles away. It's kind of like an intense daydream. Like when I daydream, maybe I'll be thinking like, oh, maybe one day I'll get a raise, and then I'll get out of this job and start my own business or something. And I'm like daydreaming and thinking about all these things. But there's a certain level of intensity that I can achieve, that I've gotten to, where I zone out. Like I literally disappear from where I'm standing, where I'm sitting. Like I can be. It started in school. I would be listening to the teacher. I would be doing something, doodling or something, and I would just zone out. I would start daydreaming about something, but then I would be like dreaming, like that whole thing about clicking into the to sleep, where I go unconscious. It would be like I would go subconscious. It would just click into it, and I would be living these visions. They would just be like flashing in front of my eyes, and visions of like seeing just things living out, like, and then I would snap out of it. All of a sudden I would be like in school again, and I'd be like, oh shit. And then it happens a lot sometimes when I'm driving long distances, when I'm tired and stuff. I'll just, start kind of, if you've ever tried to almost fall asleep at the wheel, it's very not fun. And so you usually open all your windows, start blasting your music, drink coffee, and don't do that as much as you can. But it has happened to me, and I've zoned out and just clicked off, and I've been driving, and I would click back in, and I would look around, and everything's dry, and I'm driving on the freeway, and it's just like, shit, what just happened? It's like, when it would happen back in the day, I didn't really know what was going on. And now, that I've read a lot of different books about different conscious minds and different psychologies and psychologists, and different, doctors, I'm sure, and all these people who have written books. And you know, what's interesting about all the books I've read is from great masters, great minds, great thinkers, and all kinds of different philosophers and philosophies. They all start repeating. They all start saying the same thing. Certain ones, the great ones that have great truth, it's universal, and so it just depends on what you want to do, you know. And everyone has their own path in life. I never try to. I mean, there's no way I could alter anyone's path, even if I wanted to. Even if I was like, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Someone could just still be like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna listen to him. So I learned very early on from my parents. They would always be like, "We can't control you kids once you leave the house, but please behave." And we would always look at them and we'd be like, "Of course we're going to behave." And we go outside, we do whatever the hell we wanted, you know? Behave, misbehave, it didn't matter. What mama don't know didn't hurt her. So it was just a thing of like, you know, your parents, they raise you the best they can. And even if they don't do a good job, or if they do a really good job or whatever it is, they did the best they could. And it's hard to accept that sometimes because we like to blame, and we hate feeling like, you know, like I feel shorted when I was younger, growing up in a big family. I was just like, man, I didn't have a younger sibling. I was just like, man, I was just like all these things where I experienced with other friends in school and stuff. You know, everyone's family, you know, I mean, for me, it was like unique because I was from a big family. I'm the youngest of 12. My mom and dad had 12 kids, and I'm the youngest. I'm the baby. So I was raised in a very odd environment of like seeing everyone grown up as I was just a little baby, kind of already, you know, like established in this family as never correct, never, you know, never, I never knew what was going on. They would always, you know, oh, don't tell, you know, the boys are here, don't talk about whatever subject it would be. And when I would be like, why are you hiding things from us? And they would be like, we're not hiding things. And it was just such a odd, it was such an odd environment because I was like, I know you're lying to me, but there's also no way I can prove that you're lying to me. So I guess I'll, you know, go away. And that's kind of what my family is good at. We're just like, a couple quick little white lies, just nothing you could prove, and it makes people go away. It's like, ah, oh, thank God. And so, as long as you're not really called out on it, you could just get away with so much shit. So, as a young little boy growing up in a family of 12 children, I picked up on everyone's secrets, everyone's mistakes, everyone's advice. They all told me what to do, what not to do. This is what happens when dad gets mad. This is what you do when you mess up. This is, you know. But as I got older, that kind of went away because my family grew up. I mean, they started their own families. They started having kids of their own. They started moving out, going to college. And I was probably just like 8 or 9. And before long, I only had like 2 or 3 siblings in my life. And then now I only have 2 or 3 siblings in my life. So it's like not a big surprise to me that, most of the siblings that were, I mean, I'm 25 years apart from the oldest. And it's just a weird thing when your brother is kind of more like an uncle. And then even my nephews and they're older than me. So it's this weird thing where I'm an uncle and my nephew's like 3 years older than me because my brother started having kids before I was born. It's like a weird family dynamic. I'm a weird guy. So I come from this weird place, and then so now with all this knowledge and all these things, um, I just want to talk. I just want to say what's up to everyone and say thank you for listening. And maybe I'll do another solo uh, video if this gets views. And please subscribe if you're interested in just hearing more stories, because I got stories. All right. Peace out, YouTube.